The accidents changed the fate of these riders' lives. They were very talented, and in the blink of an eye, fate changed everything. When you hear the word motocross, you probably imagine pure adrenaline, where riders go to their limit and often without strength and still don't give up. Without a doubt, it is one of the most extreme sports and perhaps the most dangerous, where you ride at close to 120 km/h and jump at an average of 80 km/h and are always very close to danger, where any mistake can change your fate and perhaps change your life forever. Today, we are going to talk about some riders who had their lives changed by motocross. First, I'm going to ask you to subscribe to the channel and click like. Let's start the video. Mitch Payton. Mitch Payton's life in motorcycling began like many others. The son of motorcyclists James and Norma Payton, Mitch, along with his brother James Jr., started riding at a young age. By 10, he was competing in family enduros, and a few years later, he was a rising star in the active desert racing community of AMA District 37. By the age of 17, he was the district's 125cc class champion in desert racing. Where Mitch's career went from there, however, has earned him accolades matched by few of his contemporaries. By some measures, Mitch Payton is the most successful race team owner in the sport of motorcycling. As a privateer effort, Payton's teams have collected 26 AMA Pro Racing Championships in motocross and supercross since 1991. Payton's career as a tuner did not come easy, however. In 1978, the year after his AMA District 37 championship, Payton suffered a debilitating crash in the desert. Instead of letting the discouragement of never being able to ride again turn him away from motorcycling, Payton refocused his efforts on the business side of the sport. When I got out of the hospital, I wanted to stay in the industry doing something, so we looked at this little Husqvarna shop that was not doing very well, and I thought, I can run that, Payton remembers. Only 18 years old, he bought and ran Anaheim Husqvarna. Meanwhile, Payton's skill and reputation as a tuner grew. Maybe it started with the art of how to jet a bike properly, then working on some porting, then maybe building a pipe, Payton says, regarding his move into tuning. Making a two-stroke pipe was a real black art back in the day. There are some very vague formulas that will get you in the ballpark, but at the degree of tune of a national two-stroke, the power you're looking for is not available just by punching in a number. Mitch Payton was inducted into the Motorcycle Hall of Fame in 2010. Payton, an AMA Life member, says that while he's honored by his induction into the Hall of Fame, the legends he looked up to in his youth are the true heroes of the sport. James Stewart. James Stewart, also known as Bubba Stewart, is an American former professional motocross racer who competed in the AMA Motocross Championship and the AMA Supercross Championships. Through his years of racing, he earned the nickname the fastest man on the planet. At age 17, he made his AMA Supercross debut and was named the 2002 Rookie of the Year. Bubba won 3 of 8 races and finished second in the 125 West class. In 2003, he won his first 125 West title with 7 wins in 8 races. The following year, in addition to being the 125 West champion again, Bubba secured his first AMA motocross title in the 125 class. The years 2005 and 2006 were times of adjustment. In 2005, he moved up to the 250 class, won 3 Supercross victories, but suffered a wrist injury and had to abandon the season. In 2006, Stewart debuted on the 450 class. He even won the Motocross of Nations with his team. His first 450 title came in 2007 in the AMA SX, when Bubba won 13 races and had 2 more podium finishes. In motocross, the rider finished 7th. The following year, in 2008, Bubba received the title of fastest man on the planet and proved his feat in the perfect season of AMA motocross, with 24 victories in 24 races. He was also champion of the Bercy Supercross and was part of the team that won the Motocross of Nations. Stewart is 3rd in all-time, 450 Supercross wins with 50 wins, and 2nd all-time in AMA Outdoor National 48 wins. He also developed the Scrub, which became a fundamental skill needed to compete in motocross. Stewart won the Motocross of Nations twice and the World Supercross title 3 times. Additionally, he won 4 AMA Supercross champion titles and 3 AMA Motocross champion titles. He won the Red Bull Straight Rhythm in both 2014 and 2015. James Stewart had a successful career, but he had his controversies. James Stewart was arrested on a charge of impersonating a police officer, the Florida Highway Patrol said. He was driving a 2008 Toyota Tundra pickup north on State Road 417 at 4:50 p.m. when he tried to stop another vehicle using red and blue police-style lights, troopers said. When Stewart pulled up alongside the vehicle, the driver identified himself as a law enforcement officer. That's when Stewart, who had a passenger in the pickup, sped off, the Highway Patrol said. Troopers called 911, and an Orange County Sheriff's deputy and an Orlando police officer pulled Stewart over at Orlando International Airport. Troopers arrived and arrested Stewart. His passenger, whom the FHP identified as Thames Jared Quinault, 44, of California, was arrested on a charge of tampering with evidence. Investigators say he hid the red and blue lights in his luggage. The man was booked into the Orange County Jail as Quinault Thames Jared. Stewart was released around 2:50 a.m. Several people were waiting for him and had put a baseball cap and a gray hooded sweatshirt on him, apparently to hide his face from the waiting media. None of them answered questions as they left the building and fled in a white Range Rover driven by a woman. The doping controversy. In April 2014, Bubba was tested for doping and failed the test. He had a significant amount of amphetamine in his urine. This substance is banned by most sports federations around the world, and I believe this is the first time a motocross rider has been punished for this reason. In cycling, it is common to see punishments for doping involving numerous substances, including amphetamine. James Stewart, in turn, appealed with evidence that the amount of amphetamine was part of a treatment for an injury he was treating at the time, but James's action was not accepted by the FIM, resulting in a 16-month suspension of the rider from any official competition. In 2016, he returned to Supercross, but unfortunately he suffered a heavy fall and was knocked out. And after that, James Stewart disappeared from social media, and no one had any information about him for several years. And that was James's last race. And after that, he never returned to the tracks, and Stewart decided to retire. Today, he works as a commentator and away from the tracks because he made an incredible story. Jesse Nelson. Jesse was one of the greatest promises of motocross. Everyone admired his talent. In 2015, he won his first race in Anaheim. He had one of his fingers amputated, but even so, he showed incredible results. And all the fans started to like him. The following year, he was one of the favorites to win. He arrived in motocross and brought good results. But when it came to the Unadilla round, that would be Nelson's last race. The day was not good for him. He had already suffered a fall, but when he arrived, and there were only a few minutes left for Moto 1 to end, he suffered a fall and immediately lost the movement of his legs. And a rider tried to help him get the bike that weighed more than 90 kilos off of Nelson. But unfortunately, it was his last race, and motocross lost one of the most talented riders of that year. Nelson now lives another life, far from the tracks. But when he goes near his KTM, he remembers his moments of glory. He is always with his fellow riders and enjoying life with his family and riding off-road cars. Motocross can sometimes be brutal in our lives, but there is nothing better than feeling the adrenaline of racing. In the previous video, we talked about the 10 scariest accidents in motocross, which you can watch at the end of the video if you haven't watched it.